New home construction may never be as important as it is right now. Now we have to ask the question, are new home builders ceasing operations? Are the prices and sales plummeting for new homes? And are new home builders really offering 4% mortgages? And is inventory really skyrocketing? All things that you're going to learn today on Real Estate Mindset, where every day is absolutely bonkers. And please don't forget, you guys, I am not a financial advisor and my studio behind me is not yet complete, but my bio is also someone that can walk away from both clout and money if it means my integrity is possibly at risk. And I want you guys to always remember that. That's exactly what you're going to get from your host. I will not milk my viewers for everything that they own. I get people that constantly ask me, Travis, what is your goal of Real Estate Mindset? Why do you have Real Estate Mindset? When are you going to start making money? And I respond the same way every single time because I understand my goal. My goal is to be able to afford to help teach people and help people without having to charge them their life savings. My goal, you guys, is to improve the world, not make money from it. Now, if you guys like my goals and you like my bios, do me a favor, like the video, but most importantly, you guys, shoot me a bonkers below. We're going to start with Zillow and a couple key bullet points, and then we're going to cover all kinds of data, starting with the title of this report, which is May 2024, New Home Sales Fell Despite Easing Mortgage Rates in May. And that's because interest rates really didn't go down that much, and the prices of houses are way too unaffordable in that income hasn't grown. Now, there's really three bullet points, guys. Number one, there were 619,000 new single-family home sales nationwide that's seasonally adjusted. That's also down 11.3% from the revised April rate of 698,000. And listen to this, guys. This is a huge blow to new home builders right here. It's 16.5% below May of 2023. And I want you guys to understand, again, sales are plummeting. They're absolutely plummeting. They're tanking with new home sales. And you guys, they're already offering 4% mortgage rates. I'll show you that here in a second. Now, bullet point number two, the median sales price of new homes sold was $417,000. That's down 0.9% from a year ago. Now, remember, you guys, they drastically revised median sales price for new homes. Before they revised it, the peak was close to $500,000, and that was in October of 2022. And I'll show you guys that here in a second. Now, listen to this last paragraph by Zillow. Roughly 25% of builders cut prices to bolster sales in May. So again, 25% of builders cut prices, and that's on top of additional incentives because remember this, guys, the last thing that the builders want to do is cut the prices. And so they'll think of a whole bunch of additional buying incentives like refrigerator, like going to the design studio, getting a washer and dryer, your interest rate buy downs, helping with closing costs, anything but cutting prices. So the fact that 25% did is a great sign of things to come. However, the average price reduction in May held steady at 6% according to the National Association of Home Builders. Now I want to take a time out and I want to talk about that for a second. Now they're saying 6% down, but if you have a great realtor and you're a great buyer, you can find many properties well under 6% from market value. In fact, in my market, I can find homes with 10 to 20% of wedge or undervalue, and they're new homes. The key, guys, and don't forget, this is very hard to do. You have to do an analysis of the comparables that have sold in the neighborhood, or rather the subdivision, because you may find new home builders that take off 20% of the listing price, but when you run the comps, you'll find out that that may not be a real 20% discount. So a lot of times they're saying 20% price cut, 15, 10% price cut, but all they're really doing is taking the home value back down to market value. So always remember, unless you have comps, you guys are flying blind. Never, guys, never forget that. If you want the site, okay? If you want the site, if you want to see, you got to look at the data. You just have to, guys. And it's not that hard. It's not. It's actually, it's one of the easy. It's honestly, they teach the type of math it takes to figure this stuff out in first grade. I'm telling you guys, don't get lazy on me. I want you guys to step up. Please, for me, help yourself. All right? Let's move on. Now we're going to access a bunch of Fred economic data, starting with median sales prices of new homes. So it's important to understand we are excluding existing homes. And it's also important to understand that new homes are leading the turmoil in the housing market. I will show you that in another video. And I also want you to remember that they revised this data drastically downward. It's now saying the peak of October of 2022 was 460,000. Remember, you guys, that was right at 500,000. They have revised a lot of these peaks down $40,000 to $50,000. It's absolutely psycho. But regardless, we did have a slight month-over-month decline of only $400. And you guys see in May of 2023, it was very close to the same median sales price. It was off by a little less than $4,000. So again, once they revise the data, it really just looks like the median sales price of homes have been basically flatlined since March of 2022. But I'm telling you guys, once again, as someone that goes out around the nation and I have access to MLS in Houston, I could tell you guys they are under stress. And honestly, if it wasn't for subsidies and government grants and things like that and special incentives, these guys would already be going under because the demand is just not there for the amount of inventory that they're building. At least, guys, understand in Houston and in Texas, there is hyper supply like crazy. And also remember, the way that this data is reported is from a survey. That's it. It's from a survey that they are not required to complete. Now ask yourself this, can we really trust that information? Ask yourself that. I don't trust these new home builders, but if you trust new home builders, then by all means, trust the data. But I wouldn't. I would trust the comps, or rather, what are people paying right now? Now, this right here, you guys, is absolutely bonkers. This is the monthly supply of new homes in the United States, and it is absolutely skyrocketing. And I told you guys, there are some subdivisions 2 to 3 times more inventory than what's listed on MLS or new home construction. Again, 2 to 3 times more inventory. This is saying 9.3 months. You guys, when we have over 6 months of inventory, the market's considered a buyer's market. And you guys can see we have been holding steady over 6 months. Again, holding steady over 6 months with new homes since March of 2022. And if they wouldn't have revised that data, you guys would be able to see clearly the price declines. There's no doubt in my mind, you guys, that there's price declines happening with new home sales. And it's not just in Houston. They have too much inventory. We see it. They cannot sell these houses fast enough because of the price, guys. It's the price that is so overwhelming. But nevertheless, if you're in the market for a new home, I mean, you guys got options and you got incentives. However, the prices are still too high in my opinion. But we're sitting at 9.3 months of inventory. That is beautiful. Now we need that with existing homes. All right, now let's go into the future of new home buildings. What are they doing as far as construction, starts? Now we're starting here with permits. Now permits did tick down pretty sharply month over month. We're still sitting at a whopping 1.4 million. So we're still at levels of pre-pandemic. But the interesting thing is it is going down. That is a specific sign of distress with the new home builders. They probably don't want to tell the public that because of the stock, right? As soon as the public knows how in distress these new home builders are, I'm pretty confident that their stocks are going to go down massively because there's a problem right now. And it just appears that America hasn't woken up to that and the new home builders are denying it. But regardless, they're still building a bunch of stuff and they're requesting a bunch of permits. Now, taking a look at starts, we got 1.27 million starts going on right now. That is down slightly month over month. Now, this is a low, guys. We are at a low of, let's see, since 2020. So we're around a 4-year low right now as far as starts. Still around pre-pandemic, but I'm going to be honest, guys, as much as I dislike new home builders and as much as I'm concerned about the quality of construction, we do need them to continue to build. The trends are starting to become alarming because it's spring and summer home buying season. So the fact that these trends are decelerating when it's supposed to be the busiest time of year, that's not good. That is not good for them. And that's not good for additional new inventory coming to the market. Now, is it good for us on the sideline that are waiting for prices to go down, or rather a great deal? Yeah, that's real good for us. But it's not real good for our country in the sense that we need building to continue. That's what I'm specifically saying. Now, this one's real crazy, guys. This is new privately owned housing units under construction, and we're like historic highs right now. Some people say this is one of the primary reasons that we have not gone into recession. It's because of the jobs with new home construction. And honestly, they got a great point. We've literally, even though this is trending downward, you can see that it's actually plummeting downward. It's still historically high. I mean, the last time it's been this high was in 1973. That's crazy, in the 1970s. So it is plummeting. That's not good, but they still got probably a year, 2, 3 years worth of construction that is going to feed the labor market and that is going to feed supply. But just like the other trends that I showed you, it is trending downward. So we do want to keep an eye on that. Now, I always say the proof is in the pudding. And if you want to believe the revisions from Fred, from the new home builders that are filling out a survey, then by all means do it. But I'm telling you, I'm boots on the ground. I'm doing MLS and I'm comparing the data. And I'm going to show you right now. And again, you got to do the research with comps. I'm going to show you what Lennar is doing right now in San Antonio, Texas, as far as shaving the prices on their houses. Because the reality is, guys, is it is happening, and it's happening around the nation, despite what bulls are saying and despite them trying to deceive us and hide the reality of what's going on. All right, you guys. So here's some price cuts right here. This is a $30,000 price cut. This is a $21,000 price cut. I mean, and look at the price points. These price points are low. $200,000 price points. Let me load some more, see what else we got here. $40,000 price cuts, $20,000 price cut, $30,000 price cut, $20,000, $20,000. I mean, look at these are $300,000 houses. If you're in California, you're like, how can they make houses this cheap? And I get it. I don't know how they can make them this cheap. It's crazy to me how cheap they can make houses here. But they are slashing the prices across the board. And this is just San Antonio. Go to Lennar yourself, put in your metro area, and hopefully you'll be lucky enough to be like me, surrounded by discounts. And like I said, the low rates are nothing new. That's why I'm saying that depends on your metro area. Low rates don't necessarily mean too much. It does in some areas, but in this area, it doesn't, because look, Lennar is already offering, and they have been for over 2 years, fixed interest rates in the 4%. Right now, Lennar is offering a 4.25% FHA plus $10,000 in closing costs, plus $20,000 off the price, plus a refrigerator and washer and dryer and window blind package. Oh my gosh. Y'all see what I mean? I mean, they're trying everything to sell these houses. Now, I want to tell you guys, and I want to remind you, there's a huge problem going on. Even though they revised all that data to, in my opinion, to mask the price declines, even if they didn't do that, it's still worse than expected, because they are not reporting seller concessions as they are required to when generating and calculating appraisal value. Let me show you. I know I keep talking about this, guys, but it is going to come to light eventually, and there will be people that pay a terrible price. But this is from December 2023. This is Fannie Mae, guys, the real bank of Fannie Mae. Now, this is the appraisal update, and I'm going to go to the second page here, seller concession concerns. And I'm going to take us right here to their definition of value. Now, there's two things. I'm just going to read the second one. The price, and again, this is their definition of value, Fannie Mae. The price represents the normal consideration for the property sold, unaffected by special or creative financing or sales concessions granted by anyone associated with the sale. And again, you see that right to the left of me. Look at all of these incentives. Normal people that are trying to purchase an existing home, they don't get those type of incentives. They are required to report that. But as you guys can see here, many of them are not. Now, I'll read this. Within the appraisal population, appraisers reported seller concessions for 7.6 million comparables. Of great concern for 58% of these comparables. The appraisers made no adjustment for the concessions. Of course, this tends to inflate the appraisal results and undermines the credibility of the appraiser. And so the way I think, if I purchased a new home and something happened, quality construction, they're trying to strong arm me, the first thing that I'm doing as a new homeowner that bought a new home, I'm going to my appraisal. And I'm looking on my appraisal to see if they properly made adjustments for the value of my house. And if they didn't do that, then I would say, well, the contract's void and I'm going to go sue you. Potentially. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not giving you advice. But what I am saying is when people don't do things the right way and they continue to take advantage of American citizens, then they should pay a price and things should change. But the problem is, guys, is they're not. They are not changing. It appears right now things are only getting worse. And the reason that is because the system is designed to not care about you. In fact, the worse decisions that you guys make, the more profitable it is for the system. And that is a horrible, horrible trap to be in. In order to get out of that trap, you have to make a decision to get out of the trap. How do you get out? You got to stop. Stop what? Stop spending. Stop wasting your money. Stop not caring and start caring. And if you're struggling, you're all over the place, say, just take out a piece of paper, get a pen, and just write down your goals. And then go after your goals, guys. You can do it. I'm going to tell you, you guys, the beautiful thing about life, the beautiful thing about America is we can really become anyone we want. All we have to do generally is make a decision to do it and then stick with it and demonstrate tenacity. And I'm telling you guys right now, you guys also had that God-given gift, and I want to see you guys utilize it. I believe in you. You're important to me. I love you guys. I want you to do well, and I really hope you guys got some new value, insights, and perspective from this video. And if you're out there investing in real estate, you guys already know you shouldn't be. You should stop. But if you are, I hope you win.